Okay, who are you looking at?
I'm looking at myself right now. We're hiking, and there's proof because my face is bright red when I'm hiking. And if I'm actually working out, you can tell. I can never lie to my PE teacher. She always knew how hard I was working. Somebody's way too excited to be here. We have a special guest, maybe the most special guest. And by special, you can interpret that many different ways.
Like air quotes special.
Our dad is here.
Yeah.
Dad.
Round of applause.
We have questions for Dad. What should we ask him?
That's some good questions.
We thought it would be really fun to get to know this guy better.
Yeah.
Because he has lots to say.
Look, he's looking behind like, who are you talking about?
He has lots to say about all kinds of stuff, right, Dad? And I'm scared.
You should be a little nervous.
But okay, we've been hiking for a while. How long have we been hiking, Dad?
It's been 3 days.
It's so pretty. So like, obviously it's really hot and warm right now. There's mountains up there. It's kind of a hazy day. We're in California. We don't call it smog. We call it haze. Let's ask you some questions.
Okay. Do I get to ask the questions?
Christy's going to ask the questions.
I hope you can hear me. Okay.
Father, do you know any of these questions ahead of time? Have you been prepared?
Even if I had known them, I'm not prepared.
That's true.
Good.
Yeah,
even
that's true.
Even if we had told him the questions, he would have forgotten them by now.
Forgot what?
Forgot what. Okay, I'm going to start off right off the bat with a very, I think, appropriate good one for the day.
Christy has so much power.
I love this. Oh my goodness.
She loves this so
I love it.
much.
Here we go.
When was the last time you tried something new?
When was the last time you tried something new, Dad?
I boiled an egg.
Oh, hey.
You've never boiled an egg before?
Wow.
I've
That's
done
awesome.
several now. You can do several at the same time, you know.
Oh my goodness. Life-changing.
That's life-changing.
That is. If you know how to boil an egg, you can do anything.
You'll survive, yeah.
I know, like I want us to actually be hiking, but we also found like the
Shade.
only patch of shade in this whole area.
Yes, this is the only shit.
There's no shade. Okay, it's day 4 and we're hiking through the mountains. We've lost our way. We're trying to figure this out. We should have packed some snacks. Christy wanted to ask another question. And I don't know, I feel like answering questions is easier when we're walking. What's it gonna be, Christy?
Okay,
Here,
okay.
say the question,
Okay,
and then we'll walk.
I feel like we're smiling for a picture. Okay. In an ideal world, what would the next year of your life look like?
Ooh.
Go.
Will he have said no to hiking with his daughters? Okay,
Probably still be on this trail.
let's hope we're not still on this trail. 1 year from now. That's all he can think about is when will this hike ever end? I think we have a hostile witness. He was into this idea. And then now that the questions are being asked,
Now he's in the hot seat.
Christy, maybe you should let him pick a question. And then-
Probably in a year, I'll probably still be watching Christy paint in my house.
Ooh, that sounded like a request. Dad has been doing amazing things to his house, thanks to his interior designer and hiking buddy / daughter. Not me.
No, she's
else?
already done some painting there, but she says we got to wait till that dries, so
Oh yeah, the
before we do any more.
paint takes forever to dry.
Here, I'm gonna give you options. That's a good one.
Ooh, that's a nice
Hurry, I
color.
have to reapply sunscreen.
This is a good one.
This is so
That's a good one.
dangerous. Why are we? Are you letting him choose, or are you telling him what
I'm
to
giving him a
choose?
couple of options.
Oh my word,
Oh yeah, this is gonna be good. Okay,
this is ridiculous.
that's a good one. That's a nice one. Yeah, you could do some fun stuff with
We're gonna
that.
cherish this video.
Yeah, I guess so. I have a choice.
Yeah, he has
Okay.
a choice. He has a choice.
Okay, let's see.
We have to walk. I can't answer questions.
This will be
and stand
proof that at least one of my daughters is serious.
still. What?
What in your
Rewind,
life
cut,
are
cut.
you most excited about right now?
Right now, I'm excited. Okay, wait. You're attached still. We still have you on a leash, Dad, so you have to keep up.
Woof.
You go down, she goes down.
Down there.
Our dad is out here hiking with us because he said, he's like, okay, let's go. Let's see if you can keep up. We'll see what happens.
When you guys were just little kids, you'd want to go running around, and we had you on leashes.
You did not have us on
You
leashes.
loved it. Yeah.
Wait, are you serious?
There were a bunch of little old ladies that would scowl at us. Oh yeah,
What
you
did
were
the
pulling
leashes
us
look
along.
like? Was it an actual like dog leash?
There's a little harness. They were long enough, you know, it kept you.
Pictures or it didn't happen?
Huh.
I do not remember being on a leash.
Maybe you weren't.
Makes sense. Okay, it's downhill. Be careful.
Watch your stepping.
Sometimes downhill is harder than uphill. That's got to be an interesting life lesson in there somewhere.
Okay, when do you feel most alive, Betsy?
When do I feel most alive? Honestly, I feel most alive when I'm outside hiking and having a conversation. I always
Yeah.
feel like when people have a conversation and they listen to each other, they can grow. And I just learned I was on a leash when I was a kid.
Learn something new.
Didn't keep her on long enough, though.
Also, there's a lot of trails here, so I hope that we're going on the right one, because the last time Christy and I were here, we ended up going like 6.5 miles.
Yeah,
Wait, what was the first question, Dad?
When do you feel most alive?
that was the latest one.
That was
Latest
the
one,
latest
yeah.
The other one was what in your life are you most excited about right now?
What in my life am I most excited about right now? I'm most excited about what's possible.
And how do you know?
Well, I don't. I know that, but I feel like when you create a space for yourself that is powered by the thought of what's possible, then what's possible is pretty limitless. I feel like we put limitations on ourselves all the time, or really limitations are basically like excuses, right? Like we carve out like, oh, well, you know, that'd be nice, but only if I had this, or if I did this, or if I'd done this back then. So I think that's what I'm most excited about, is living in the headspace of what's possible.
Isn't
It's
it
scary.
a lot of work?
It is a lot of work.
Yeah.
Because you can't just stay in that headspace. You have to it's kind of like, what would I compare it to? When you come off of a high of something, stick with me, Dad. We're not talking about drugs. We're talking about,
Okay.
I
know what you mean, man.
when you go somewhere, or you have a conference, or you have you had a weekend with friends, and you or it's like you plan, you have like a great meeting, and you're like, this is gonna be amazing. But then, and that's when you come up with your little catchphrases of, what's possible,
Shortcut.
anything. But then when, to Dad's point,
Reality hit.
because he does have his wise moments, even though he tries to hide them sometimes, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to stick with staying in the headspace of what's possible, because when you say what's possible, obviously failure is possible. What's the question?
That's amazing. Okay,
No, we can't end on failure. That's so lame.
follow-up question.
That's so lame. We're not ending on failure.
Failure's good.
That's what I was gonna say. Is
Failure is good.
a bad thing?
More times you fail, the better chance you have of succeeding at something. And,
Wait,
and
say that again.
The more times you fail, the more chances you have of succeeding at something, and you may eventually succeed at something that you hadn't thought of.
Yeah.
Preach.
Actually, that is
I'm just going to take up the offering.
oh, there's no offering.
Oh.
We just maybe might get you a refreshing beverage after this.
Hey there.
There's no prize at the end of this hike, other than
No, but
survival.
yeah,
We're on day 6.
day 6.
Day 6. We
You
need water.
will find, though, currently and throughout history, that the people who succeeded, if you read their stories, they failed many, many, many more times than they succeeded, but they kept on failing until they succeeded at something.
And probably a lot
And
of
we
people,
just think they're lucky, and how come they have all that money?
accolades, success.
Yeah, but they worked hard usually.
I mean, yeah.
I think the hardest thing might be somebody starting out and wanting to be successful, and they've been given a whole bunch of stuff. Maybe money, I suppose it could be their talents,
Education.
knowledge, education, and that's never enough.
Well, talent's what you make of it, and I mean, some people have a natural knack for something, but you still have to know how to harness it and also just do something with it.
That's true, because I watched my own kids.
What?
Uh-oh.
We didn't give you permission to talk about us. We will be editing this.
Betsy was always the one when there was the three of them and they were playing or whatever was going on. Betsy was in charge. Youngest in charge, and
Oh, all the older sisters of the world are rolling their eyes right now.
it was because she had a
Maybe.
real knack for speaking, communicating, and
Leadership.
leadership. Absolutely, no, leadership.
I didn't tell him to say this stuff, you guys.
And that's all important. And, you know, someday she's going to be a really good example of
Someday.
how to succeed. Her failure right now presently is not shutting the camera off, but that's okay.
It's true. I have complete power right now. You ask a question and then you absorb it and you just listen. If
That's
I turned
right.
the camera off, I would be, what's the word? A hypocrite.
Yeah, that.
And that's not the goal here. I don't know what the goal is. The goal is to be authentic.
Goal is to survive.
Day 14! Day 14!
And another example
Okay,
is
he's still talking.
Christy.
He does.
Christy was a real detail person. She was very quiet. She got over that.
She really did.
She really did. She was very detailed, and all kids, give them a crayon, give them a pencil, they will automatically draw a picture because it's one of the things they do just to express themselves, learn who they are, and drawing is and all art is a way of learning to see.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, but before she was a teacher, an art teacher,
Christy was an art teacher, is an art
she
teacher.
was. Well, she is. I remember when watching Christy draw, there were her little drawings. She just included so many details her two sisters didn't put in their drawings. And
Nope.
that's not good or bad. That's just what Christy did.
I still draw stick people.
A lot of times people ask me when they know Christy draws, they go, so does she get her artistic talents from you?
Ooh,
and I go,
we know the
yes.
answer to this question.
I said she did. She got all of them.
Yep.
Took them all.
Christy,
Took it and ran with it.
why
It's
did
like,
you take all of Dad's
it's
talent?
like, can you at least leave the pencil?
No, that's true. Like, so many people don't know that our dad is an incredible artist. And I remember I'd go through like his like art pad or whatever.
Uh-oh.
And I'd
You
like,
didn't look at all of them, did you?
yes, I did.
Oh, man.
But they were incredible. Like they were
You
like,
guys aren't going to see them.
we don't even know where they are now. He uses his artistry in different ways now, but he was an incredible artist. And I would find like his like art pad and I'd like read it like a book, which was great because there were no words, it was just pictures. You brought up three very diverse, very different young women, amazing women.
Yeah, I did.
I remember thinking like art was Christy's thing because she immediately like that was what she gravitated towards. So it's like to your point of like talent. I remember I had to take an art class and it's like I feel like it's in our DNA because at first it was more like that mental block of like, oh, that's not possible. I can't draw. Who can draw? That's way too hard. And then you take an art class with an incredible art teacher, Martha Mason, and then suddenly a couple weeks in and you're like,
Did I draw that?
I could, yeah, exactly. That's what it was. It was like, did I draw that? I couldn't do it now. I mean, I could, but I would need a couple more weeks with Martha Mason.
What you're doing is you're teaching a skill, but you're teaching somebody how to see what's around them. Be very observant. And
Yeah.
you can observe by hearing things. You can't see pictures of hearing, but that's what you do.
Water break.
Hydrate.
No, you have to keep talking. We're doing the water break.
Oh, okay. Talking about how like I was quiet, very detail oriented. observing, but maybe that's why drawing was my outlet, you know, because it was like
Oh, that's
I took
good.
everything in, and
Yeah.
instead of speaking it and saying it,
I gave Christy.
An incredible aha moment.
It is.
I'm not even kidding.
You're
Like,
welcome.
how long have you been an artist? Like, we're still young, but we're so young.
ish.
I'm wearing pigtails. I'm young. You guys, that's what hiking does. Like, you just get, I think that's also why movement is so important, having a conversation while moving.
A little oxygen to your brain is good.
Oh, look at this family. Okay, that wasn't the kind of movement I was talking about.
And the thing back to.
Did you drink water?
I did.
Okay.
Back to Christy and learning her art. I gave her her first art lesson, and it was very short.
What did you teach her? Do you remember?
Christy was into stick men, but this was a stick woman.
Okay.
And Christy drew this lady. Very nice triangular shaped flowing skirt.
Ooh, pretty ladies are triangular.
And it had all kinds of details and stuff on it.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it. Here's this skinny lady down to her dress. Her dress stuck way out.
Yeah.
And maybe it was for stability, I'm not sure, but her legs were clear out at each tip of the dress.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm looking at that, and I look at Christy, and I go, Christy, do you stand like that? She looked at it, and it's like, oh, no. That was the last, well,
And ever since then,
The rest is history.
and the
the
next
rest is
day,
history.
the next day she was teaching art.
Yeah, pretty much.
She's never looked back.
But anyway, that's good. Now, Katie was obviously the oldest because I do keep them in order. Somehow. Sometimes. And Katie was tasked early on with
Taking care
watching
of
over her little sisters.
these rugrats.
Yeah, little rugrats. And she did a good job. I think from that, Katie developed her teaching skills.
Yeah, because she's a teacher.
Katie was always a teacher, followed after her mom's model, because her mom was an amazing teacher. And
Amazing teacher.
Katie
Not
did
by the
that.
book, even though that's what she taught.
About books.
About books.
About books, but they.
I feel like
yeah.
books gave her power to think outside of the box, which is the
Yeah.
power of books.
And these two daughters here have the gift of gab, and they use it well.
He's calling it
mostly
a
that
gift.
one.
Mostly,
I like the way you say
And-
about like failure though, because that also makes me think of like we have artists in our family and musicians in our family, and so often there's like I love like the awards that take place, whether it's for like best breakout star or best new artist, and I always think it's so hilarious where people are like, where did they come from? Wow, how did they skyrocket so fast? It takes a whole lot of work. It's not luck, it's not a lottery.
it's a lot of work.
Part of it is that, obviously, but really it's like, I don't know, I've always learned that like luck is just like really hard work meets opportunity, and you have to put yourself in those pockets of opportunity and then let the rest do its work. But when you say like, oh, best breakout star, and people are like, oh wow, welcome, and they're like, we've been doing this for 10 years.
Yeah.
So you have to keep, I think that's the other thing too. Like, I think for me, it's like when I'm looking at the next year, I'm looking at what's possible on the other side of like consistency and hard work. So it's like, if I know that I'm consistent and I work hard, which Christy, where do we get our work ethic from?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Probably
This guy?
that guy.
This guy? Our mom? Both of our parents. I do love, despite my ups and downs and all my many stories that I've had in my somewhat short life, is that no matter what, I always credit any of my success comes from my hard work. And I always say, even though I hated it and it was the worst when I was like 7 and my dad was making me mow the lawn, I look back and I'm so grateful for it. Oh man.
When I was 7 trying to mow the lawn, we didn't have a motor on our mowers.
Okay.
And we used to walk 12 miles to school in the snow, and it was uphill
That never happened.
both ways.
That never happened.
Oh, no snow?
This is the exact route that Dad took to school every day. I know that the upbringing that you provided for us
Give us lots of opportunity.
it gave us so much opportunity that I'm so grateful for. And I wish everybody could have a dad with a ponytail like we do.
Oh man, you got.
Where is it?
Whoa.
Ah,
There it is in all its glory.
Where's the radiant hair oil for that?
You guys, his hair was buzzed short when we started this hike. His hair.
Day 175.
Day 175. Christy, come here. I feel like we've learned a lot. Have you learned a lot?
I feel
Yeah.
like I've learned
oh,
something.
see. So I think all three of my kids were creative, very smart. I think they
Street smart.
street smart and book smart. They're good kids.
I like this. I feel like he could go on and on about
Yeah.
how awesome we are.
Apparently we need like 37 more days on this trail. Anytime
Yeah.
you guys need a little pep talk, just go on a hike with our dad and he'll tell you how awesome you are. Which in turn is, let's be real, it's kind of like you're complimenting yourself. Because
No.
you raised us. You have to take credit for some of it, Dad.
That's a little.
He was gotta
Takes
take credit for
he
some
takes
of it.
credit for the good hair at least.
Actually, yeah, Dad has really good
Yeah,
hair.
he's still got it.
He sure does.
Still there.
Still
All of
there.
it. Let's do it. Oh no. Oh no.
What is happening? This is not. No.
Just get rid of
What?
the sunshade. What?
Jesus. It's Jesus.
What? This is luxurious.
He is literally letting his hair down.
Look
How did
at
that
it
can
flow,
happen?
though.
Now we know where Betsy got her curls.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is crazy. Do a spin. Jerome will turn it into slow-mo.
Do a little slow-mo spin. Like,
Oh, hang on, stay where you are. So this is like red. What? There's some red. Okay, I know maybe it doesn't translate on camera, but there is like some sun. Look, Christy,
he literally has your hair. Or you have
this
his
is
hair.
like,
I don't know what's happening.
it has red
know what's
hints
happening
to
right
it
now.
though.
Where
Whoa.
Okay, first of all, he's 70 something-ish. I don't know.
Claim it, Dad. It's pretty. I feel like when you have hair like this, you want people to know how old you
Look
are.
at it, the breeze. It's catching in the breeze.
Oh my word.
What is happening?
Oh,
I don't know what to
here
do
it is.
now.
Here it is.
His hair is his story to tell, but I see it as, actually Mom always liked you with longer hair, but you never grew your hair out that long. And I feel like hair for Dad it's been a sign of rebellion, because what he's done with his hair had to do with his hair when he was younger. He was always told what to do with his hair. Am I on the right track here, Dad?
You're on the right track. I was told by somebody at a certain school that I had to cut my hair, and because it would embarrass my parents,
Were your parents embarrassed?
Mom cut my hair.
Oh wow.
So it was her fault, not mine.
Oh my word, it's just like, it's all Dad's hair right now. Oh man, this is our dad in all his glory.
No, his glory.
And this is two of the three this is two of his faults. Two things that he has to take responsibility for.
You think?
Thanks for hiking with us, Dad.
Hey, it was fun. I'm glad
Happy
I got to
Father's
go.
Day. We love you.
Hey, I love you guys.
We love him so much. Should we go get you something cool to drink?
Yeah, let's get out
That's a good
Get out
idea.
of the sun. Bye, everybody. Say bye, Dad.
Adios.
Bye.
It'll be fine.
Oh, this is off to a great start. I love
This is
it.
ridiculous. So is that your final answer?
It's the best I could come up with.
Already established. There's no right or wrong.
That might change today.